Greetings.
Hey, it's your girl Gypsy the Pole Queen. Thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel. Dang, my head looks big.
Humongous.
That's only because I do have a big head, but that's okay. Anyways, this is my first YouTube channel, so please subscribe, press the like button at the end or the beginning, however you like to do. And if you do hear any noise in the background, that is my family, of course. They are having movie time.
Of
And
course, when
guess
I
what? You
decide to
guys are having
record.
movie time as well because I, Gypsy the Pole Queen, am the entertainment for today. So I would like to tell you guys about how I actually almost got pregnant by a stranger.
Stranger
Yes, I
danger.
said it. How I almost birthed a whole entire child by a stranger. Not birthed a child, but almost made a little seed, I think. Yeah, a little seed. Anyway, so let me get to the story. I actually moved to Tampa, Florida in 2017, and I was actually on vacation with a old associate of mine, and we either had Tampa or we had Miami to choose from. Which one did we want to go to? Because the weather was so horrible here in Pennsylvania, where I'm from, and the
Brr.
weather was like
Brr.
probably like 30 degrees, and then it was dropping down into the negative. So I was like, man, let me get up out of here. I usually do get up out of, the coldness anytime the summer comes. So
I'm in winter. Winter.
my old associate and I, we got on a plane, kissed Pennsylvania
Mwah.
goodbye. And we actually went to Tampa. We stayed in Tampa for a few days, and no, I'm sorry, um, we stayed in a hotel for a few days, and then we stayed at my associate's house. But that is a different story for a different day. If you guys like to hear about how I moved to Tampa, you know, please put it in a request box. So
You
all
know you
my
want to.
videos will be raw, hopefully no cut, but all my videos are literally raw. Literally how I almost got in the situation I got into. Don't worry, I strapped up. Anyways, so I lived in Tampa, and I was with this chick named Jinx, and I'll tell you guys about Jinx in a different story, in a different video as well. But I was with this chick named Jinx. She was an exotic dancer. I had met her in Tampa, Florida. Actually, no. Where did I meet her at? Oh, I met her in St. Pete's, Florida, outside a club called Foreplay. Anyway, so I met Jinx. She's an older white woman, well, older than me. So she was probably like 33 around there, and her name was Jinx. So what can go wrong with the name named Jinx? Anyway,
Everything.
so I met Jinx, and a few weeks went by, and she texted me, and well, when I first met her, we exchanged numbers outside the club, and a few weeks went by. She texted me, and she was like, hey, what's up? I was like, hey, what's up? She was like, you want to go out of town? I was like, sure. So since I was like already out of town, I went out of town. Like, I'm not from
Metaphor.
Tampa, but I lived in Tampa. So her and I, we decided to go to Fort Lauderdale, and we just, cruising down the street in R64.
Never again.
Anyways, I get on my own nerves. Anyways, so I get on my own nerves. God, this is my first video, so it's so weird. Anyways, so I met Jinx. We went down to Tampa. I mean, not Tampa. We went down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we went on the beach for a little while, and we were like trying to figure out like where we wanted to stay. We just pretty much got in her vehicle and just drove. So I want to say like a day went by. Long story short, I can't, the whole situation. Okay, long story short, Jinx and I, we went to the beach, and we met an old friend of hers, and this older white male, and he actually bought us some drinks, and we had a good old time when he bought us some drinks. I had about 2 drinks, few sex on the beach, like 2 drinks or whatnot.
We got fucked
And
up.
heck, why am I telling her name? Oh, nobody knows her anyways. But anyways, so Jinx had a few drinks as well, but Jinx, she really likes the drink. And we actually had our hotel on Fort Lauderdale Beach. Okay, back to the story. Okay, so Jinx had a few drinks, and Jinx was, she actually liked to drink a whole lot. I want to say she was, well, she told me she was a recovering
Lies.
alcoholic, but I think she was still alcoholic in my personal opinion, but I'm not trying to judge. So anyways, long story short, later on that night, Jinx and I, we were going back to Tampa, Florida, which was 3 hours away from Fort Lauderdale, which we were currently in. And we were in the vehicle and actually dozed off. I probably dozed off for like, how many minutes? Like, I want to say like 5 minutes I dozed off. Not even 5 whole minutes. I just pretty much shut my eyes. So I want to say I dozed off for like 2 minutes. And I just felt the vehicle just like speeding. Like, it was like speeding real fast. And I'm like, okay. So, my intuition, like my eyes were closed. I wasn't fully asleep, but I was like coming into sleeping, but because I didn't really know her like that, I couldn't really sleep the way I wanted to. Anyway, so we're in a vehicle and we're on a highway, and she's like, I just feel it speed and I'm like, okay, my intuition's like, she's
God.
gonna crash. And these are the voices that I'm hearing in my head. And I'm like, if she crashes, she better kill me because I'm going to kill her. And next thing you know, I just felt the car just like, and I like opened my eyes up, and the vehicle was just like turning, and it almost hit a pole.
Dancer.
And as I'm sitting there, I open my eyes up. So you just imagine, I open my eyes up. I'm like, and we were this close away from hitting a pole. So
Dancer.
it was actually 25 miles per hour. We were going around a bend on the highway, so it's like a wraparound bend. And your girl Jinx was going 70 miles per hour, and she almost freaking crashed us into a pole. So the vehicle is facing towards traffic, like, and the traffic is like coming on, but we're real close to a pole because we kind of like swerved off the highway, but we were faced towards traffic. And fortunately for us, we didn't hit a pole. But
Dancer.
when I opened my eyes up, I seen beer cans everywhere. I mean, everywhere. And I was like pissed, like, and actually had spilt beer on my leg. Like, I had a big like damp spot right here on my leg.
Super
and I'm
soaker.
like, what the hell? I wake up and the cops are like coming down. They're like, we around. They're coming down the street, and she's like, hurry up, help me. I'm like, why? What's going on? She's like, oh, the cops are coming. Well, I didn't say why, what's going on. I was like wanting to kill her, but I'm like, help you with what? So I looked in the back seat. Not only was there a beer can that spilled on me, like she was drinking while she was driving 70 miles per hour down a 25 mile per hour lane, which she was wrapping around a bend. Insane, right? Insane. So, sorry guys, I'm getting Instagram notifications. So I look in her back seat, and this girl has a whole, I want to say she had, how many beers did she have? I think it was like a 16 pack. And it was a whole bunch of crushed up beer, like old crushed up beer cans in her back seat. I was like, what in the, so Jinx and I hurry up. We got out the car. We hurry up and start hustling up, grabbing all the cans and stuff. And I'm black.
Black
I only
lives
had
matter.
2 drinks, Sex on the Beach, and that was like hours prior. But I didn't want to be in no trouble. We were already, swerving off the road. So I was like, I'm not trying to be in no trouble. And we hurry up and picked up the cans and stuff. And Jinx was like, we hurry up and picked up the cans and we threw them in her trunk. And then the cop got out the car. He wasn't really, was he a cop? He was like an off-duty. I want to say he was an off-duty cop. I don't know. He just looked, I don't know. He wasn't a cop. And if he was a cop, he's not a cop. Anyways, I'm going to tell you why he wasn't a cop.
Bluff.
So, he gets out the vehicle. He's like, hey, is everything okay? She's like, yeah, I was looking at the GPS and GPS told me to go this way and then I went that way and then I just didn't know. But except she didn't sound like that. She sounded a little bit more like this.
Slurring.
GPS told me to do this. I don't know why the GPS told me to do the wrong thing. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, if that was me, I would have
Locked up, they won't let me out.
if that was me. Okay, anyway, so the cop was like, oh, okay, well, be more careful. He left.
White privilege.
Let me jump back into before we even picked up the beer cans. I told her, I was like, I'm going to snap. I'm going to flip. She's like, flip. And then that's when the cop car came. Okay, back to the story. So the vehicle, the cop in the vehicle, he got in his vehicle, he pulled off, and he didn't do anything. But back to if that was me. If that was me, I would have been arrested, beat up, all of the above. Anyways, so I didn't allow her to drive. So I ended up getting in a vehicle to drive back to Tampa. And,
Mommy duties.
I was in the driver's seat. So I ended up driving her vehicle while she was drunk because I'm like, you're not about to continue to put my life on the line. I know your name is Jinx, but you're not going to put my life on the line. She's like, that's nothing. I already flipped over cars before, a couple cars. And I'm just like, bro, flip over vehicles while I'm not in it, okay? Miss you goodbye, but I just met you, okay? I know your name is Jinx. You've probably been jinxed all your life, but please don't jinx me. Anyways, so we're at a red light. I'm like, hey, Jinx, you know where to get some, smoke, some ganja. And she's like, yeah, whenever we get back to Tampa. And I'm like, dang, it's pretty late, so I don't think we can get any time soon. But I was like so stressed out. Like my heart was like beating so hard. Like I was like, bro, like I didn't know what to do. So I looked to the right of me, and my intuition was like, there's a gas station. And then I looked at the empty tank, and I was like, she needs gas. So I ended up pulling over, and while I'm pumping the gas, I see this guy come out, and he had dreads.
Rastafari.
And I see this guy come out, he had dreads, and I was like, hey, what's up? I was like, you know where to get some ganja? And he was like, because he didn't know me, and these Florida guys, they are quite different. Anyway, so he looked at me. He was like, what's up? He was like, yeah, follow me. I live right around the corner. So mind you, right around the corner was like right next to the highway that we just got off. So we followed him. We went around the corner, and I told him exactly what happened. And he's like, that's crazy. That was y'all on the highway. I heard that big swerve. He was like, I was actually walking at the end of my street, and I went to the gas station before I heard that swerve. So then I was like, oh yeah, that was us. He was like, wow, you better be lucky to be alive. I was like, I am lucky to be alive, but how ironic is it that I met you and you heard the, situation, basically. And he was like, yeah, because I live next to the highway. And I was like, yeah. And then I met you at the gas station. It's just ironic. So he looked a little bit like Meek Mills in my personal eyes.
It was dark.
And, he had long dreads. Him and I, we sat outside his house for about 3 hours, and we were talking while Jinx, she laid in the backseat of her vehicle, extra intoxicated. So we let her be, and he was like, look, you don't need to be hanging out with her no more. She's going to be doing stuff like that. I was like, man, I just met her, so I don't know if it's going to be I don't think there's going to be any more of us, basically. So him and I talked for about 3 hours. I was extremely tired, and he invited me into his home, and he lived with his parents. And at that point in time, and he told me he was a chef.
Boy, RD.
And he was about, how old was he? He was about, I think he was like 22, 23. Yeah, I think he was like 23. Unless he was lying about that, but I think he said he was 23. About 6'1", 6'2", dark skin, tall, dreads. He was handsome. He had a little bit of meat on him. A little bit of meat. But anyways, he was cute. And we had a great conversation, but that was about it. So, you see my nails need done. Anyways, so back to the story. His parents were asleep. They are Jamaican, so not that that matters, but I have stories off stories for these days. So anyways, him and I, we go into his room, and he's like, you know, trying to like push up, and Jinx is like, before I went into the house, Jinx is like, oh, you about to get you some, you about to get you some. And I'm like, no, I'm not, no, I don't even know him, like, I don't do stuff like that. She's like, about to get you some. I'm like, no. So, we went back into his house, and, we were in a room, and he was like trying to like push up on that kid, and I was like, I'm not with that. Then he didn't even have protection. Yes, I said it, protection. And then I was like, and I don't know you. You're not getting nothing. You don't have protection, and I just met you. Oh no. And he was like, you know, but I didn't say it like that because I was like extremely, like, I was in a vulnerable stage. I just almost died, and I was just like, you know, at this point I need a bed to lay in because I'm devastated. Like, it just was a whole lot. Like, he caught me at my most vulnerable stage I've ever could have been in my entire life. So he let me get in his shower or whatnot, and I got in the shower, I got cleaned up. Actually, he didn't push up on me until after I got out the shower, but I got in the shower, I got cleaned up, and then he came in there, and he's like, hey, can I get in the shower with you? And I was like, no, I'm gonna get in first. I got in first, and then he got in. Then that's when we went into his room, and that's when he was trying to push up. And that's when I said all the saying that I said. So then he realized that he couldn't get any. So then he was like, okay, well, I don't have a rub, so I'm gonna go back to the store to go get some protection, which is a rub. And I was like, okay, instead of me saying no and getting up out of there, because that's not what I wanted at all, I did like him, but I just met him, and I didn't know what he had. I didn't know what he was about. He told me he didn't have a girlfriend, but it just, you know, guys can say anything they want nowadays, so never really supposed to believe what they say.
Never.
Anyway, so he went to the store, and he came back. I was asleep for like, I like dozed off for like, I want to say like no more than 5 minutes. I mean, he was back. As soon as I did this, I was like, damn, back already. Like, he couldn't wait to get some of me. So he was like acting like he was a virgin, like he never had none before. I don't know, it was weird. I mean, he was young, but I've never dealt with anybody like that. But I guess you can say that's a Floridian for you. So he came back in the room, he had the rub, and he put it on, and I'm like, fuck, I do not want to do this. But you know what, he did give me a place to stay real quick, and a shower. I'm vulnerable, he's fine, we might have a future. Why don't I just say no? Why don't I just say no? One day I want to give it up, but just not today. Then I'm laying in a comfortable bed, I'm like, okay. So I said, okay, let's go. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, hell to the no. So anyways, so going back, and he put on the rub, and then he put it in and was like, and then was like, and I'm like, you done? He's like, yeah. It wasn't even 5 minutes, y'all. I promise you it wasn't even 5 minutes. I'm like, oh. This dude is about 23, and he was extremely excited. So he got up, and he was like sweating and drenched and stuff, and he got up, and I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, yeah, I came inside of you. You did what? I came inside of you. And he had this real big smile. Baby mama. And I'm like, you did what? He's, oh yeah, the condom broke. The who broke? The what? Oh, the rub broke. I promise you, y'all, I was like out here. I started bursting out in tears, yo. I'm like, stranger, I don't know what's going on. Like, oh, I'm so emotional. And he's just looking like, oh, it's okay. If you hear any noise in the background, that's my family. He's like, oh, that's okay, baby mama. He's like, I got me a bad baby mama. I'm like,
Psycho.
and I started crying, and I think like an hour went by, and like I think I got back up to get in the shower after that, and then an hour went by, and I was like skated. And then he was like blowing my phone up, like texting me and everything. Like, I want you to come back. I want you to visit me. I don't want you to go nowhere. I want you to come move with me. Da, 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 da. I'm just like, stay tuned for part 2 coming on how your girl, Gypsy the Pole Queen, almost got pregnant by a stranger. Because I'm not done with the story, y'all. I'm not done yet. Stay tuned.